All right, we are back with another pick'em video. Going to be going over my favorite plays for the NBA today. We got a nice 7-game slate, so really liking the board. There's some value out there. But more importantly, it's Taco Tuesday on PrizePicks, so we want to take advantage of these discounts. We're also getting some discounts on some other sites that we'll talk about a little bit later. But if you're new here, I do apologize about the audio. I don't know if it sounds bad or good or maybe better. I don't know. But this is my typical setup. I'm on the road. I'm also kind of in like an echo chamber, so if that sounds bad, I do apologize for that. But if you're new here, we rip out daily content like this each and every day. So if you're interested in sports, NBA is obviously in season right now, the most popular sport. So we're attacking NBA, also my favorite sport, my most knowledgeable sport. So we love to attack NBA over here. But once MLB comes around the corner, we'll be looking at that. And in the Discord, we talk about all different sports. So leave this video a like, comment anything down below. If this video gets to 150 likes, I will be giving away a free month of the Discord to a random comment down below. So got a comment to enter, and we've been super close, 120 likes on the last video. So I do appreciate that, even though that video came out at like 3 p.m. This one is coming out a little bit earlier, but again, I'm on the road, so I can't get these videos out too early. But it also means we can attack a full board, fantasy scores and other things like that. But yeah, I also like to show my picks from the video last time. I'm not brushing over my losses. I'm obviously not going to brush over my wins. But these were also plays that I play personally. So I give them out. I play them. I send them to the Discord. Obviously, I send more plays to the Discord than just the free picks. But really solid day. Just unfortunate for Aaron Gordon here, who misses by a 0.3. Came out of the gates hot, 10 points in the first quarter. Slowed down against that Toronto team. I went to the first half because I thought it was going to be a blowout, and it was almost a blowout for the Toronto side, especially in that first half. I think the Nuggets actually ended up coming on to win that game. We looked at his 13.5 points for the full game, but again, just thought it might be a blowout where Aaron Gordon didn't get his normal time. I think he ended up scoring like 17 points. So unfortunate there for the 0.3 miss, but honestly can't complain too much because Wembanyama missed the over just by 0.7. So we got lucky on this one. Maybe we got unlucky on this one, so they kind of even out here. But Wembanyama played really well in his return. The blocks and steals weren't there for him, luckily. And we talked about that. Golden State doesn't really typically give up a whole lot of blocks and steals. And for Wemby, his line was at like 5.5 for blocks and steals, which is soaking up a lot of that fantasy score. And I think he only end up getting 3 there. So he stayed under. And then Io blowout there against Dallas didn't really matter because we went to the first quarter. I think he was the first guy to score for Chicago. So ended up getting another bucket there, which was great. And then Nick Richards, no sweat at all. I think he got that before halftime. So really solid day. Obviously, would have loved for Aaron Gordon to cash for us, especially after starting the game with 10 quick points. But we'll try to capitalize on this, keep it going. We've been absolutely killing it. The free picks had an insane weekend in the Discord, especially yesterday. We had like an even day that wasn't amazing. But if you're also wondering if I kind of show my wins sometimes when we have these big days. I'm not throwing 100 plays at you and then be like, oh, we hit another 6-man. We've hit a 6-man in 10 straight days or whatever. I'm meticulous about my plays. It takes me a long time to get these together. And especially for NBA, I really do a deep dive on these. So I do give out multiple slips, multiple plays, way more than the free picks here. But I'm not throwing 100 plays at you. It'd be overwhelming anyway. And you wouldn't be able to tail every single one. So I'm meticulous in that way. I'm not going to overwhelm you, but we'll talk about the Discord a little bit more after we get into some of these picks. So let's go to the board. First guy I want to be talking about is going to be Kyle Kuzma today. Big news here is there's no Marvin Bagley at center, and there's no Rashawn Holmes, who's that backup center. So Kuzma's coming in to start this game at the center position. If I should probably type in Kyle Kuzma here. So let's go over to his 12.5 rebounds and assists. Going to be going over here. I'm very, very tempted to go to his fantasy score, but it's just a huge bump from the last fantasy score I saw for him, which was 38.5, all the way up to 42.5. I think you could still go to that. I think he could score very well. They're going against a Memphis team that has literally no one. They've been injured all year, but they don't even have Jaren Jackson today. They don't have Vince Williams today. They don't have Zaire Williams. They don't have either of the Williams. So even those guys that have stepped up with the absence of obviously, Ja, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, all those other guys, they're not even available today. So they got a skeleton crew over there, and Kuzma should be able to have a solid game. And they're 2.5-point favorites. That's my main thing here. So I got Outlier pulled up over here. You can get a free week of Outlier just by using my code in the description. Highly recommend checking it out, especially if you're doing this a decent amount. It just makes you feel a lot better about the plays you're making. It gives you a lot of information to make a smarter play rather than just being like, oh, I think Kuzma's going to have a good game. Now you can really do a deep dive on it. So let's go ahead and reset, just kind of see Kuzma's line at 12.5. And we'll see the hit rate's not great, 34%. 21 of 62 games on the season. But again, they've made some trades, and their centers are both out. So we got Kuzma starting at center. And we do see a decent amount of green here recently. So last 10 games is going to look a whole lot better. 60% of the time he's gone over this. This is that Charlotte game this was the game, Miami, where he started at the center last game. So good to see he went over there as a starting center. And this was against Miami. So more difficult matchup here than a skeleton crew of Memphis. So I like Kuzma here. I want to dive a little bit deeper, though, to see a solid hit rate. They've only won about 10 games this year, but we can dive into games that they've won because, again, they're 2.5-point favorites. And if we go to games they've won this season and just go to any game, lot better. 7-11 games. Love to see that. And even some of these games they did win. Let's see, 20. Or I guess we can just see the minutes. Even some of these games they did win, and he wasn't getting 27 minutes. They actually won that game against Atlanta by like 30, so he didn't get his full allotted minutes. He should be getting a whole lot of run today, especially with those centers out. So hopefully this game stays close, and if they're able to win this, the hit rate looks incredible. So matchup, you can see right here, rebounds allowed, assists around allowed. This is going to be skewed. I don't think this is going to be an extremely high scoring game, which is another reason I'm kind of fading off of the fantasy score here. But should be, decent amount of shots, and Kuzma has been assisting the ball well, rebounding the ball well, especially in that center spot. So I like the matchup. The hit rate's not bad once you look a little bit deeper into it. And then I got DG Fantasy pulled up over here. So we go over a lot of different data points, again, if you're new here. But we got Kuzma pulled up. This is going to show us market value across all these other sports books. Highly recommend checking this out. You can get 25% off your first month using my code in the description. That's also going to translate to a free month of the Discord. Again, I'll talk about that promotion a little bit later. But we got Kuzma here. Rebounds and assists. The over is favored, 12.5, 53.02% chance to hit. Why is that? It's because all these other books that have this lineup are favored to go over this. So DraftKings, one of my favorite data points to look at, has this line at minus 130 favored to go over, meaning if you were going to DraftKings to make this play, they'd pay you less if you took the over because they're thinking it's more likely that he goes over than under this line. So that's what the market value shows us, and kind of the advantage of DG Fantasy, and also just the advantage of being able to take advantage of PrizePicks fixed payout system. They don't care if you go over or under; they're going to pay out the same. Whereas these other data points and sports books are going to pay you out differently. So we want to look at that data. So everyone's favored to go over this line, so I like to see that as well. And then our last data point is going to be our projection model over at RotoWire. Highly recommend checking them out as well. You can get a 2-day free trial just by hitting the link in the description. You don't even have to put a credit card in or anything like that. So let's check there what they're thinking here. Fantasy score is on the over there. I do want to point that out as well. DG Fantasy has this at the over as well because DraftKings is up at 43.1. All these other books are slightly on the over there. So again, if fantasy score is something you're interested in, I would totally go for that for sure. But that rebounds and assists right here, 12.5. They're projecting 14.19. I love to see that because all we need is 13, and they're up at 14. So don't mind anything for Kuzma really today. But the line we're going to specifically go to for the video pick is going to be his rebounds and assists. And then while I have it pulled up here, I might as well talk about Maxi a little bit. His taco is the first one for us. Looks like he got about 2 hours to get this in, so going to be going over on this. People always talk to me and ask me, especially in the Discord, sometimes in the comments, hey, are you going to be playing this taco? Are you going to be playing that taco? I play every single taco with the same amount of confidence. No, they don't always hit. Sometimes, it is frustrating when they miss. But they do hit at a solid rate around 75 to 80% of the time. And they're always going to be positive EV plays, which is, my main source of attacking value. So it's definitely always going to be a value play. Tyrese at 21.5. I have no problem taking that at all. And he's just coming back from injury. It's a concussion, so he should be good to go. It's not like he's coming off a leg injury or a wrist injury or something like that, where you might be limited minutes. He should be a solid run. If he's clearing the concussion protocols, he should have a full game today. And then while I'm on the topic of the Sixers right now, I'm going to be going to Tobias Harris for our next pick. So totally different play. Not going to be going to points or anything like that. Actually going to be going to his turnovers. So this kind of does make a little bit more sense with Tobias Harris playing with Maxi. Maxi's going to soak up a lot more usage. So Tobias's turnovers, might be going down. And we'll look a little bit deeper into that with Outlier here. So I got that pulled up. We see it is favored in terms of the numbers, minus 119 on the under for what they're giving us on Outlier here. So good to see that right off the bat. But we also see a 60% hit rate on the under here. So really solid. Other than these 8 games at the beginning of the year, it's been pretty consistently on the under here. And we have to talk about Joel Embiid not in the lineup, them bringing in Kyle Lowry. I want to talk about all those different guys. But we can see, 60% hit rate already looking pretty solid. So before we get into the injuries, I do want to also go over the Knicks here. They don't force a lot of turnovers. They play scrappy for sure, but bottom half of the league in terms of forcing turnovers. So that is another good data point. But let's go ahead and take Joel Embiid out of the equation. And you'd think Tobias Harris's usage would go, skyrocket here. Doesn't seem that like that happens, and at least it doesn't translate to turnovers. That actually 60% of the season ends up turning into a 68% hit rate. So without Embiid, looking pretty good. Maybe some more blowouts, losses where he just doesn't get the minutes here. I guess this game right here, nothing too crazy, but solid data point to look at. And then we want to look at games with Tyrese Maxey here. So let's go to Tyrese Maxey. This turns into a 72% hit rate. That does make sense. Obviously, Maxey carrying the ball a little bit more is going to take it out of Tobias's hands to get turnovers. So 72% hit rate with Maxey. And then they're bringing in Kyle Lowry. Looks like he might get the start tonight, who's just another ball handler to have the ball a little bit more. And we see that in the 6 games that they've played together, he's gone under this in 5 of the 6 games. The one game he went over was this might not even be. No, this was against Philadelphia. This was against Miami, so this one doesn't even count. So in those games, while Kyle Lowry's been on Philadelphia, so the games that he's played with Lowry, with Maxey, without Embiid, he's actually gone under in all 5 of those games. In 3 of those games, he had 0. So I like that hit rate for sure. Didn't even realize that this was counting. That's against Miami, where Kyle Lowry is playing on Miami. So this one doesn't even really count. So loving it even more. So hopefully Harris doesn't have the ball in his hands a whole lot. Hopefully the guards of Lowry and Maxey are kind of carrying the load there, and everything looks good in terms of matchup as well. So liking Harris on the under here. Obviously not only just going to hit rate, but we want to go to Tobias Harris on the DG Fantasy, see some market value, and we got his couple of different things popping up. Fantasy score over. So again, if you want to be looking at that, that could be a solid move. But that also is a good thing. If his fantasy score is over, maybe they're thinking he's not getting as many turnovers because that's negative fantasy scores. We can go down and see the turnovers here. 51.35% chance to hit. So obviously not, 53, 54 or anything like that, but good to see that they're on the under here. And then DraftKings has this at minus 120. BetMGM has this at minus 125. Pretty much minus 120 across the board. So definitely slightly favored to go under this, but, looking and thinking about Lowry, Maxey handling the ball a little bit more in a matchup against the Knicks, I'm liking Harris here. So Harris, 1.5 turnovers on the under. Definitely go ahead and take advantage of the Maxi Taco. And then before we jump into the last play, I do want to quickly shout out the Discord over here. This is a community we've started. About 300 people in the premium part of the Discord, about 1,800 people in the free part of the Discord. But you get access to all my plays in the premium section. You're also going to access to, a 300 person group of more invested sports bettors. You get to share your own slips, see other people's slips that they're giving in. We have a seasoned chef's spot where the guys that have been here for a long time and kind of tried and true, they know what they're doing. They can post their slips in here. So it's not just me. It's also this community aspect. Obviously the plays are amazing, but even just talking about, esports, you talk about in the NBA games, complaining about people not playing well, really celebrating when people do play well. It's a good community. We have a lot of fun, laughs in here. So yes, you get access to all my slips, but almost more, you get access to a community, and it's just $20 a month. You can also get in here for free if you don't want to pay as well. You can go into my codes and links section. All these are in the description of this YouTube video as well. But these are my partners: PrizePicks, Underdog, Chalkboard, Sleeper, Dabble, and DG Fantasy, as well as OddsJam, Outlier, and RotoWire. Now, for OddsJam, Outlier, and RotoWire, they have free week trials in themselves, so they don't qualify for a free month of the Discord. But these 6 do. If you sign up for PrizePicks using my code, Underdog, Chalkboard, all these 6, even including DG Fantasy, that's going to translate to a month free of the Discord. So just DM me, say, hey, use your code. I'd love to try you guys out for a month. It's really no harm, no foul. It just kicks back a little bit my way, lets them know that I sent you there, and you get it, and it tries out for a month. If you want to, get up to 6 months, you can sign up to using all the codes. That's going to get you 6 months of the Discord. So check us out. They all have their own perks in themselves. 100% deposit matches up to $100. So if you go on PrizePicks, you've never been on PrizePicks, you can go use my code. You're going to get, if you put $100 in, they're going to start you off with $200. They're going to match that first 100. If you only want to put $10 in, you can go ahead and do that. You'll start with $20. Same thing for Underdog and Chalkboard. And then for Sleeper, if you want to go put $500 in, they're going to match you up to $500. So you can start with $1,000. 500 of that would be, house money that you're messing around with. And then for Dabble, they're going to give you $10 just by making an account. I don't even think you have to deposit anything for Dabble. They'll just give you $10 right away. So they all have their deposit match, obviously, but they also have their own perks. PrizePicks has Taco Tuesday today. Underdog has Freaky Friday. They're also doing a random discount today. Chalkboard's always throwing discounts at us, but they also give us alternate lines, so they're a little bit different than these other ones. Sleeper, similar. You get access to all different lines that won't be on PrizePicks or Underdog because they're not 50-50 lines. They're more, you can play a line that is very, very likely to hit just to boost your payout a little bit more. Or if you want to play a line that's, a triple double line or something that's not as very likely to hit, you can go ahead and boost your payout a little bit, more because of that. And then Dabble, different for sure. They're more of a social aspect of sports betting, and they're also newer, so they have softer lines, meaning they're not going to be able to adjust their lines as quickly as PrizePicks or Underdog or Sleeper or these more established places. So, they have their perks themselves, but you also will get the free month. It'll kick back. Good way to support the channel my way. But yeah, check us out for sure. And then last but not least, we're going to be looking at Jordan Clarkson fantasy score. Going to be going under his 30.5 here. Tough matchup against Boston. Obviously, no Lauri Markkanen in this one, no Taylor Hendricks as well. So we'll be looking a little bit farther into that. But Clarkson under 30.5, I had that pulled up on Outlier. We can see it's a 57% hit rate for the entire year. So pretty solid hit rate on the year. If you want to look at the last 20 games, it's a 70% hit rate. So looking even a little bit better. We do want to mention that, Lauri Markkanen is out. So we want to look at games without Lauri Markkanen. We can go ahead and do that. See Lauri Markkanen here. Without Lauri Markkanen, who's missed 7 games, he's gone under this in 4-7, so still a solid hit rate. And then without Taylor Hendricks, we can see 53% hit rate. So nothing too crazy in terms of injury news. If Lauri Markkanen is out, it's not like he's going over this grand majority of the time. He's actually going under less. So I do like to see that. But the biggest thing here for me is the matchup against Boston. These guys did face each other earlier in the year, and they got crushed. So we'll see what happens today. Boston has game time decisions for Drew Holiday and Lauri Markkanen. But both these guys sat out the last game. I don't know if Al Horford's going to play either, but that's just for rest. But Porzingis didn't play last game, which was yesterday. Drew Holiday didn't play last game, which was yesterday. Could have been a first half of back-to-back thing. They could both be back today. And if they do get cleared to play, this 7-point spread might, be 8, 9, 10 even. So I do like to see that because in games that they've lost, we can see that this hit rate becomes very, very solid. So clicking this right here, we can go to lost by really anything. We see it turns into, no, actually, that's for games lost by the spread. But at games they've lost in general, 74% hit rate. And we see their worst game of the year looks like 6.4 right down here. And who was that against? Against Boston. So hasn't played well against this team at the least, this season. Played only 17 minutes in that game, and they lost by 20, it seems like. But good data point to see right there against Boston. 6.4 fantasy points the last time these guys matched up. But 74% hit rate in general. If you want to go a little bit farther into this and look at games they've lost by the spread, if you think Boston's going to go out here and win by the spread, 87% of games. So we do see he hit last game against Denver, another tougher defense, in only 28 minutes. So maybe he was just shooting extremely well. We can see the field goal percentage, 56% on 18 shots. So that is something to look at. But again, Boston, it does come out and crush teams sometimes. And especially if they get Porzingis and Drew in here, this could be a blowout pretty quick. So I like Clarkson under. It's not just me. We can see the DG Fantasy is saying, hey, it's an under. It's actually over a green play here, 54.52% chance to hit. We got 3 data points saying 29.1 or 2 is more likely to be the area for his fantasy score. So good to see DG Fantasy in terms of market value is saying you should probably take the under here. PrizePicks might be a little bit too high. And then for our projection model, they are also on the under here. Fantasy score 30.5. They're projecting 29.5. So they're, kind of in the realm of what the DraftKings, BetMGM, and Bovadas of the world are saying. So I like the matchup specifically. If they go out and lose this game, it's looking like a pretty solid, hit rate, of course. But if they go out and lose this game by 7, 8, 9, 10 points, it's looking really, really good. So that's going to do it for our 4 plays. Going to include a taco in this one just because it's Taco Tuesday. Definitely whatever tacos come out, I like to take advantage of them. But the other 3 plays, Jordan Clarkson under 30.5 fantasy score. We got Tobias Harris under 1.5 turnovers with Lowry playing and starting, with Maxi back playing and starting. I like the usage rate drop for Harris. And then Kuzma, 12.5 rebounds and assists starting at center against a skeleton crew against Memphis. So all liking all 4 of these plays. I'm going to be posting more plays for Sleeper, for Chalkboard, more PrizePicks plays, probably for Underdog. Got to utilize that discount over in the Discord. Remember, if you want to get in the Discord, you can get in for free. It's $20 a month if you don't want to use this method, but you can get here for free using any of my codes: PrizePicks, Underdog, Chalkboard, Sleeper, Dabble, or DG Fantasy. Might as well get in here if you want to get in here. Might as well sign up using the code to get in here for free. Try us out. And then don't forget, if this video gets to 150 likes, I will be giving away a free month of the Discord to a random comment down below. So you got to comment to, get entered into that. Also, if you're in the Discord already on a trial, I will just be extending that trial, so you can still get this. But we got to get to 150 likes. I think we can get there. Been super close the past few videos, but also we've been killing it on the video picks. So 150 likes, comment anything down below, and subscribe if you're new. Daily content like this each and every day. But that's all I got for us today. I will see you guys tomorrow, or if you're in the Discord, I'll be active in there, like I typically am. But yeah, I will see you whenever. Peace out.